All right. Hello, my name is Ryder, and today I'll be presenting my process on how to avoid death by PowerPoint, which was something we learned a little bit earlier here today in class. This will be my first time showing this PowerPoint to you guys because I missed the deadline for the initial submission. With that being said, I have a lot that I'd like to talk about. I really enjoyed that TED Talk, and I think there's some really good key takeaways that I'm just going to highlight through this PowerPoint. So first of all, I'd like to include something that was a little bit more off the topic of the video that I like to include, especially after reading in our readings about credibility, how to do business reports, and certain lines of showing how credibility is one of the most important things in a business presentation. So I included here something that I would usually use in some type of business presentation is what I would call like a credibility slide. It gives a little bit of background on me, a background of why you should be listening to me, and also where you can find me if you want to learn more about me. So this is a little bit off topic from the video, but in my case, I think this is a really, really valuable key in establishing right away why people should be listening to you, not for any type of charisma reasons, but because here I've done this research, I have this PhD, I have these credentials, and for that reason you've already engaged your audience on kind of what type of expert you are to be giving this explanation. So first off, we have to keep it to one idea a slide. I think sometimes when people are making presentations and generating content, they have an idea that they need to jam as much information into one slide as they can and have these really, really detailed, hardcore, filled with information slides to come across as more credible. But the thing is, your audience isn't as smart as you think, or at least their memory isn't as good as you think. And the more things you put on the slide, the less you take, or the more you take away, from the information that you're trying to communicate as the presenter. One of the key things that you want to remember when presenting a PowerPoint or any type of presentation, and this is something I learned in my public speaking class, is that you are the presentation, your slides aren't. So by keeping your ideas to one a slide, it's a lot easier for your audience to direct attention to you instead of towards whatever jumble of what's going on. So I have a couple examples here. Here I have a slide that looks pretty okay. This is just this. There's no like background to what's going on in this slide. But say there's things and we want to show how to prepare, how to execute, and how to celebrate a certain business goal. These are all related items and they all come in succession. But the thing is, there's just too much on this slide to be able to have key takeaways and have to look at it at a single glance and understand what we're going to be talking about. So although this looks a little bit okay and it abides by some of the other rules we're going to talk about, having three separate ideas and three separate concepts in the same slide is a lot for the audience member to decipher while you're as well talking over it. Going into our second item, we're going to avoid sentences in our PowerPoints. Now, you might be thinking, well, that's a little bit weird. I feel like sentences are the most coherent way to communicate, but it's a little bit less broad than just that. Like I said, you are the presentation, your slides aren't. And what we do when we have long, really, they might be well structured, they may have good grammar, good techniques, but again, your audience is kind of dumber than you think. You want it to be short, you want it to be precise, and you want it to get to the point quickly. So here I have an example. This is a slide about oranges. Now, there's a lot going on in the slide. There's darn near 100 words. Now, the thing I want to touch on quickly is there's still lots of really, really good information in this slide. There's nothing that's bad inherently about the information I'm communicating. But even me looking at this as I present it, I'm not even going to go into a single thing that they're saying on this slide because it's so much writing. On this next slide, I want to give you an example of how you can take all this information about vitamin C, about antioxidants, chronic diseases, and then put it into a little bit more of a audience-friendly slide that is for sure to hold attention better. So look, on this slide, it has all the exact same points that we talked about on the previous slide, but look at how quickly I can read through it. Vitamin C boost, antioxidants power, digestive support, weight management. Just like that, I've already learned more in reading 4 quick half sentences than I did in the last 30 seconds looking at this one. So I really like this slide because it gives you all the same information. And now I, as the presenter, as the withholder of the information, I've established credibility. My audience already respects me and it looks to me as an expert. I can now go into details about why oranges boost your vitamin C, where the digestive support comes from. And they're looking to me instead of trying to pick through a long area of slides to find that information. Again, I am the presentation. My slides aren't. My slides are here to accompany me. All right, so now we're going to move on to another one. And you can already tell from maybe some of the slides we've already seen, big is better. Again, when we come into that dilemma of trying to cram so much good information, we want to be so credible. We want to have all these facts, all this knowledge coming from all these other places. But the thing you run into when you're trying to make big slides on your laptop is you're like, man, I can't fit as much stuff in. But sometimes that's the key, and that's what you want. So for example, that could be done with an image, something like this. A big image really takes the attention away from you to the screen, and it really draws the attention of your audience. But at the same time, you're not overwhelming them with information. You're just drawing big attention, not big scrutiny, big confusion, right? Or it could even be in the format of the slide. For example, in this next slide, I have a quotation. And this quotation, while it may not have a ton of information, it gives a big focal point for the audience to look at and take in that information as it comes. And then once they have absorbed that, then again, they're coming back to me to give a little bit of background, a little bit of meaning to this quote, and establish some more background information. Moving on to our fourth one is contrast. Now, I've just done this with this slide, and obviously I've done it with colors here. You're going to notice immediately how quickly we've gone away from the light blue color tone of this presentation and switched it up completely. If you're looking at through a 30-minute presentation, it's white, light blue, maybe a yellow, something light. Mix in something dark, mix in something a little bit different. Again, I still like this color palette, but it has immediately grabbed the attention of my audience because it's different. It's like, okay, I need to remember this because. And this can be done with color, this can be done with size, this can be done with cadence. You might have slides that you have timed up that you're going to spend a good 3 minutes on, and you're really going to go into depth. And you might have something that you're going to go quickly into and then move away from. So it's important to remember that this isn't just for the visuals. This can be how you present it as well. I want to contrast the tone of my voice. I want to contrast the timing I have on my slides, maybe the transitions. All of those things can be valuable in making you stand out as a presenter. And those things really come back to, again, to you as a presenter. They're not going to look at, oh, wow, those slides are really good. They're going to be, that presenter was really put together. He had his ideas in form. I remember what he said. It must be him. So these are really ways that you can enhance your own credibility by just changing up some certain styles of your presenting. Finally, I want to go into the last one, and that's keep it clean. We want to keep it, I believe the video said under 7 points a slide. Even that, I think, is pretty generous. It's all about we're holding attention span, and we want to be able to have this information stick. Especially when we're looking at a business setting, there are a heck ton of presentations you're going to be going through on a weekly or monthly basis. If we are able to keep things clean, keep it cohesive, and keep it from overwhelming the audience, that is the best way that we can make sure that our presentation is effective. Because again, this could be something that we're trying to inform people, but maybe I'm trying to persuade people. Maybe I have a proposition that I'm bringing to someone. And all these little things matter into how they're going to treat my ideas and treat my perspective, not only for this certain presentation, but also the ones moving it forward. So I have an example here of something. There might be a lot of really, really important stuff in this slide, but we have all kinds of stuff going on. We've got a photo awkwardly overlaid in the background. You're trying to look behind things. You're trying to find it. You've got a big old sign that's saying it's important over here, but then we've got a different font at the bottom right saying look over here. We've got a big looping arrow. You want to keep things more straight and concise. And now we can look at a more simple slide. Here, I'm going to go into rocket building. Say I'm Elon Musk, okay? And I'm going to go into rocket building. I don't need to make the audience, per se, pull information from the screen if I can establish an agenda and then address it through my presentation. So this is a little bit of an easier way to go about it. So with these 5 tools in mind, you can really be effective in not only your slide deck building, but also your presenting as well. Varying your timing, varying your slide structure, and being very aware of the amount of content, where the attention is going. When you're building PowerPoints, the key thing is where's the attention of the audience as they're witnessing, first of all, my speech and the slides that I'm presenting them as accompaniment. So with these 5 items, I think that you can really communicate effectively and have success in the business workspace. So with that being said, thanks so much for watching.